Nearly 900 years ago, the first crusade set out from Regensburg in Germany to the Holy Land, when Godfrey, Duke of Lower Lorraine, marched his army by the overland pilgrim route through Hungary. Now a second crusade, a Comma Crusade, manned by 8 members of the Cambridge University Middle East expedition, sets out to follow the route of the first, from Regensburg to Strasbourg, and on to Stuttgart and Nuremberg, eastwards into Austria and on to Vienna, place names strung like pearls on history's necklace. Over metalled roads, the 2 capacious 3/4-ton forward control commas make their way to the capital of Hungary, the beautiful city of Budapest. Pausing for a moment before its great buildings, the Houses of Parliament and the Art Gallery. To the frozen music of its architecture, the Danube adds its own sweet melody. From Hungary into Yugoslavia, the roads seem to get more difficult with every mile. But the going improves as the expedition makes its way deeper behind the Iron Curtain into Bulgaria, where the traffic problem is non-existent. But so too is that sign of civilization, the service station. Not that one was ever needed, as they travel on their trouble-free way to Sofia, Bulgaria's capital city, whose inhabitants line the streets, eager to examine the eye-catching comma in closer detail. Whilst the Cambridge expedition swap experiences with an expedition from that rival seat of learning, Oxford. Through the traffic-free streets of Sofia, the vehicle set out for Turkey, through scenery of every sort, from lush green valleys to plains of scorched earth. Now on Turkish soil, the expedition tastes its first delight, a swim in the Sea of Marmara, and a breather too for the hard-working, overloaded transport that is to carry 8 people, their clothes, equipment, food and stores, and a motorcycle for 3 months through 6 countries and over mountains and marshland with an almost insolent ease. On over the sullen, stony soil of Turkey, the harsh landscape gives way at length to the softer outlines of a city, the city of Istanbul, with its mosques and minarets, once known by the name of Constantinople. The commas wait upon the quayside, still in Eastern Europe. Across the Bosphorus Straits lies Asia, and the ferry is there to take them over the narrow strip of water that divides 2 continents. Istanbul is left behind, a strange mixture of past and present, old and new. Towering modern blocks of flats epitomize the Western influence, but the East has the final word. On the mainland, the expedition pushes on from city streets over fields and tracks once covered by the first Crusaders. 2 days of car-breaking driving through the Cilician gates to the Taurus mountains. Along the self-same route, this modern invasion follows in the footsteps of the earlier travelers of medieval times. Over the silent landscape, sleeping in the lap of legends of long ago, the road leads on to the Syrian border, where the expedition interrupts the Syrian soldiers in a game of cards. In such a lonely outpost, surely patience would be more appropriate. Through the sandy wastes of Syria for mile after mile, that modern ship of the desert, the Comma, carries its load as lightly as does the camel it has superseded, and provides a far more comfortable ride. The camel's highly independent suspension lacks the modern features of design that gives the three-quarter tonner its stability and comfort, and the former's notorious economy in running costs is more than matched by the 23 miles per gallon of the latter throughout the arduous 10,000 miles the expedition covered. In outward appearance, too, the vehicle is super, and the camel merely supercilious. As far as the eye can see, the road lies straight and uneventful through the oppressive heat and silence of the desert. And the busy outskirts of Damascus came as a welcome contrast to its loneliness, as the caravan made its way through the lands of the Bible to Bethlehem, where in the solemn midnight, centuries ago, a child was born and cradled in a manger. Through its narrow streets, the route leads on to the journey's end, Jerusalem. Those first crusaders took 4 years to reach their golden goal. Their counterparts of the 1960s made it in as many weeks. 4,500 miles of trouble-free motoring, spoiled only by 2 punctures. Times have changed, but not Jerusalem, where the Church of the Holy Sepulchre marks the site of the crucifixion and the resurrection. Since the 4th century, a church has marked this hallowed place, with intricate patterns carved in the stone that has truly stood the test of time. Around it lie the narrow streets and marketplaces of the city, where its inhabitants live out the present in the shadows of the past. The sun shines down upon the glorious Dome of the Rock Mosque, built in the 7th century upon the site of the Temple of Solomon. Just outside the city lies the Mount of Olives and the Garden of Gethsemane. "3,800 feet above the level of the Dead Sea, the city of Jerusalem sleeps on, serene and peaceful in the sun. Shaken by siege and sacking, wrecked by war and famine, plague and pestilence throughout its 33 centuries, Jerusalem has survived, a symbol of faith and hope to all men." The vehicles head for home after a general greasing, the only attention paid them throughout the journey, back through Syria into Turkey and the foothills of the Taurus mountains. The crumbling ruins of a Crusader castle, a gaunt reminder of the turbulent past, dominates Kozan, the ancient capital of Silesia. An area rich with the spoils of time, the village of Kozan is reached by a narrow potholed track whose corrugations would defeat all but the most determined traveler. Here the expedition stayed a while, engaged on further fieldwork, both historic and scientific. The latter unit found much of interest in the local music of Zorna and Davul drum. So too did the local schoolchildren. But to Western ears, it's the sort of music that only snakes find charming. Lausanne also boasted a taxi rank, the ubiquitous Jeep being the only vehicle tough enough to cope with the local roads, apart that is from the commas. Once again they hurry on their homeward way, leaving a plume of dust to mark their passage. 3,000 miles and 6 days later, the expedition of 6 men and 2 girls is back in France, at the old seaport of La Rochelle, where since the 12th century, French wines have been exported. But first, a visit to the marketplace in the shadow of the town hall to replenish the now depleted larder. 3 months before, they set out with stores and tinned food stacked high in the vehicles. Now all the tins are gone, and the expedition is nearly over. Here in profusion are displayed the produce of the orchards and fields of France. But there are fruits too from distant lands, fruits whose aromatic scents and vivid colors recall the markets of Jerusalem. Who knows, perhaps these too have made the long journey from the groves of the Middle East. A journey on which the expedition encountered extremes in all things, blistering heat and penetrating cold, acrid dust and driving rains, rough boulder-strewn tracks and swamped highways, extremes that tested both the travelers and their vehicles to the full. Now, with their mission successfully completed, they make tracks for home, past the twin towers of St. Nicholas and the Lantern, which have guarded the entrance to the port of La Rochelle since the days of the 14th century. Off into the dusk they drive, overland to the Channel ports and the ferry to Dover. And through the green heart of Kent to Canterbury, nearly 10,000 miles of motoring behind them, the kit of spares untouched within the capacious hold. The crew say farewell to their good companions. The 3/4-ton comma bears testimony to an ambitious, trouble-free run that contributed so much to the success of this modern crusade.